Hello, Don here. Welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. I am really excited about this podcast episode. I had a wonderful opportunity to be interviewed by Giselle. She is Brazilian. She has a company that does medical billing, but really what she wanted to talk about was how my practice had changed using patient presentations and using my treatment sheet. So I'm really kind of passionate about this. This took place after a recent AAPPM meeting, and I was able to share all my best tips and how this has really boosted my practice. So if you're considering about using treatment sheets, or you want to kind of see how I fit that into my workflow to really increase the value for patients, you might like this episode. Once again, if you do like it, please share this with others and just like it on whatever podcast episode you're looking at.
We all have our protocols in our mind.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be great if you could have a protocol that included DME, that included in-office dispensing, that included regenerative medicine, all on one piece of paper?
I'm here with Dr. Don Pelto, and we are going to bring it up to you some kind of help. Dr. Pelto has a private group that he coaches and does help doctors to reach the next level. And I'm so excited to speak with him and learn the direction that he can help doctors. So,
great, thanks, Giselle. Thank you for having me on your podcast. Kind of the backstory is I've been in practice since 2009, and there was always an elusive number in practice, and it was the elusive number was the $1 million mark. And I couldn't quite figure out how to get there, and I heard of a lot of other practices that got there, and it seemed so easy for everyone. And I think I was looking for, was there one magic thing that'll get me there? And can I get there with the type of practice that I want? I thought, well, do I need to have a great surgical practice to get there? Or do I need to have a regenerative medicine practice? Or what type of practice do I want? And how come I couldn't do that? And what I found out is there are some big levers that can help a practice get to the $1 million mark. So when I finally got there, and it took me like 15 years to get there, to get past that mark, and I was like, and all these other people are like at the $600, $800, $1,000 mark, and they can't get behind there, can't get beyond there. And so as I was thinking back, I was thinking, well, what were the main things that I could help people with? And that's where I put together this Practice Mastery Academy, or I call it the $1 Million Practice Formula. So basically it's a little formula, and I give it all out for free, and I help practices to kind of get to the $1 million mark. That's basically what it is.
well, sounds so simple. Is that simple? Just that you just need a formula and you get there?
It's not that simple, but I have it broken down. So basically, you there's a whole bunch of videos, and everything I give away because I want people to be successful, because I feel like I didn't have an easy plan. For example, we're recording this from the AAPPM, the meeting, and I went to a number of meetings, but I still wasn't able to get there, and I couldn't figure out why. And so in there, I talk, the first thing is knowing your numbers. And I keep a real simple number for me. So if you see 20 patients a day, and if each patient has a $200 value, then you are going to get to the $1 million mark. And so the number I look at basically each month is I want to have about $80,000. So 80 times 12 is about $960. And so that's going to get you to the $1 million mark. So the first thing is looking at, well, how much am I producing, or how much under $80,000 am I producing? So if you're under $80,000, the first thing is you don't have enough demand. If you are underneath that, and so businesses can either have not enough patients, or they're not producing enough per patient. I think there's two distinct problems.
Okay.
In my practice, for the longest time, I didn't have enough patients. So a lot of times I was focusing on the wrong thing.
Right.
So if I don't have enough, if I'm not seeing 20 patients a day, then my whole problem is I don't have enough supply. So you have to totally work on marketing and getting patients there. Once you get full, then the other problem is if the value is too small per patient, if it's under $200, you're also going to not be able to get to the $1 million mark. So you have to kind of figure out where you're at. So under 20 patients per day, or you're not fully booked, you have to work on purely it's a marketing, getting more butts in the seats.
Yeah.
Then once you're at that, then you have to refine it to make each patient worth more.
Yeah,
worth
and
more.
then goes to the service that the doctor provided, because if you are seeing the volume of patient, but your revenue per visit is like $90.
That's what I'm saying. So the whole focus for me is $200 per
Right.
visit. So if you're at 90, you have to. So let me just explain. So if you're seeing 20 patients at $200 a visit, you can get to the $1 million mark. If you're seeing patients for $100 a visit, you have to see 40 patients a day.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a numbers game. You can still do it at 40 a day, but that's not really. I don't even think it's possible to maintain that.
Right. Well, that's where, what I see from the billing portion of it. I do review numbers with our doctors. Like once a year, we get a full year of performance and discuss the revenue per visit, the services. And the doctor that I see that has low revenue per visit that prevent them to get it is $1 million.
Yep.
Doctors, they are performing more routine food care. So one analysis that I do, like what % of your revenue comes from high pay service supposed to low reimbursement service. So routine food care, the average reimbursement like $40. So if the doctor is doing 80% of the visits routine food care, he needs to pedal a lot to get it to these $200.
Correct. Well, you're not going to get there. You never get there to 200. You might get to the $1 million mark, but you're going to be burnt out.
Okay, so now I'll tell you the objection that a doctor comes to me that I say exactly this. You want to get, and they say, how can I change my patients?
Yep.
I only have those type of patients.
Yep. So that was the same situation we were in. And so let's talk about this. So you have a couple of options. So if you're seeing a lot of routine care and your value is very low, it's a numbers game. Okay? So part of the problem is if you're seeing, you probably don't have enough room for even new patients if you're seeing that many routine care. Like you might even say, I'm so busy, I can't see any other patients because I'm so busy seeing these patients. So the number one tip, okay? Each doctor in our office only does a half day of routine care. So my day is I do Friday morning, and I do routine care from 8 until noon, okay? And that's all I do during that time. There are 10-minute slots, okay, for each patient, and I have a nail tech. We have a nail technician. So we found a person, she actually has a degree, and she's a manicurist, and so she's seeing patients, I'm seeing patients, and that's all we do in that 4-hour period. And patients cannot make an appointment with me to do routine care any other time of the week.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So it makes something it's maybe only $75 a visit, but I'm doing so many of them, and I have help that I'm seeing all those patients that she's seeing, and so I can make something that's not profitable because of the density of the patients, because I restrict access. So I have time for other treatments other days of the week.
But to get at this point is like a transition where, because the doctor is booking 5 days a week, routine food care, now consolidating 1 day a week, what else are they going to put on these slots?
Yep, all the other thing that's going to make money.
Right. But how are they going to find the patients to get on those slots?
So it's a slower transition, right? So a lot of times, so what did we used to do? We used to have our 25, 24 patients a day, and interspersed within there you have the routine care. So I doubt a doctor is seeing 40 patients a day of only routine.
Right.
They're seeing other things.
Right.
Right? So all I'm saying is I'm going to take those, and part of the problem is when you're seeing everything, let's say I'm spending time with plantar fasciitis patient, and they're worth a lot more, I'm rushed to see them, and because I want to get to that routine care patient. So now what I do is I just educated our patients. So all I said, I didn't change appointments. I just said, hey, just so you know, by the way, the doctor is only doing routine care from now on Friday mornings. Okay? Oh, but I can only come in the afternoon. Sorry, we can't help you. I can't do any other. I can't do Friday morning. I'm sorry, we can't help you.
So you would lose the patient.
So we would lose the patient, and that's okay because it's a patient that's probably losing you money. Or because in our office we have 4 doctors, and each doctor has a half day. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And so you could go see one of the other doctors, but if they have to only be seen in the afternoon, we can't see them.
Okay.
And so we may have lost some patients, but that's okay because they're lower revenue producing patients. And all the other time it will fill in with other types of patients that you want to see. It's going to fill in with the other more revenue producing patients. And even if it's not, take a day off. Go work on marketing, go do other types of things so you can see those higher value patients. That's the number one tip that really allowed me to produce a lot more revenue. Now, in the beginning, you have more gaps in your schedule, but it's going to fill in, and you'll be able to spend more time with those patients. They're going to provide you more revenue.
That's a great advice, because what I see, doctors year after year, we review those numbers and they say exactly the same thing. I cannot consolidate my routine food care patients because I don't have other kind of patients to fill my schedule. And you use the time to build it up this audience.
Yeah.
So how they gonna? If I know you have so many advices in marketing, so how they going to attract these patients that they want to see, that bring you revenue?
Yeah. So the number one thing would be come to the AAPPM meeting where we're at today. Come to the meeting, okay? Because one of my favorite. So if you have some patients coming in, how do you get more patients? So my favorite book, or my favorite author, is Alex Hormozi. And so he has a book called $100 Million Leads and $1 Million Offers. The leads book is what you need to look at, okay? It's called $1 Million Leads. How do you get more patients into the practice? There are hundreds of ways of doing it. You have to find what works best in your hands, okay? So it really depends. The cheaper way is to go out and block your schedule that you're not as busy, and you go visit doctors and develop more referral sources, okay? Educating them or teaching them what type of patients you want to see. It's obvious, but if maybe it's not that obvious, taking everyone, you have to get an email from everyone and sending out a weekly newsletter and only talking about things that you want to see. I would also say if you don't want to see any more routine or wounds, you actually take that off of your website, because you only want to talk about what you want to see. So when you're doing your blogs, when you're sending out your emails to your list, you're only talking about things that you want to see. Let's say it's plantar fasciitis, warts, things like that. And so you only speak to that. So I'm a big advocate of that. Making sure you have enough online reviews, which is a key one as well. So that's a whole other question. It's a whole, you have to get more supply of patients in your office.
Yeah, I was listening to one lecture yesterday where the doctor was telling she want to be more wound-centered practice, and she make tons of videos and the whole page on her website educating patients about wounds. And then she started building up this part of her business, and I thought was and patient would tell they come because of the video explaining exactly what the patient was going through, and they felt like she was the one to help them,
Yeah, it's the benefit to video, like we're doing right now, is when patients come in after they see one of your videos, they feel like they know you. So a couple of things about that. For making videos, let's say you have 12 conditions that you want to see. You have 12 months in a year, you focus on those, and one might be orthotics. I'm not talking specifically, maybe it's plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendonitis, orthotics, AFOs, things like that. So each month, it's really easy to have a marketing focus that month. And for those 4 weeks, you do one blog post a week, one YouTube short a day. You kind of work on developing that content. It's really laborious. It really is. But another quick little tip is if you don't want to focus on a specific condition, you have to focus on another aspect. And this is a tip that I haven't told many people, but if you really have a lot of demand, or let's say you put all your routine in one day and you have all these open slots, or if you hire a new doctor and you want to fill up their schedule, if you've noticed today, what there's a ton of these urgent cares. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
The urgent cares are popping up all over. So what I would recommend, instead of advertising or marketing a specific diagnosis, you can advertise and market speed of service. So what I would call that is a podiatry urgent care.
Oh, that's a lovely
So
idea.
you would call it podiatry urgent care, guaranteed same day or next day appointment.
Oh, gosh.
And so you're not advertising plantar fasciitis or anything else. What you're advertising, hey, I got time. I can see you the same day or next day. And it's a way of advertising, not giving a discount or doing something for free, but rather speed of service. So, for example, why is Amazon so popular? It's because their speed of service.
Yeah.
If you have all of these openings, you can make an urgent care. We have an urgent care slot on our website. Patients can pick the times that are available. And when you're doing marketing, or when you have a web page, you would have a podiatry urgent care page, like a microsite, like a page on your website. When you do AdWords or marketing, you would put in, we have an urgent care. When you're doing the Google business listing, we have urgent care. When you're doing posts online, urgent care. Why? Because most other podiatrists, they have to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to get in. If you can offer same or next day appointment, it's going to be great for you.
That's a brilliant idea. I love it, and I can tell, like, my nephew the other day was with an ingrowing nail, and then he wake up crying, and my sister called a doctor, and they did not have a space, and then she ended up, like, they were 2 days, whatever, and the kid was crying, and she ended up figured out herself and canceled her appointment because it was too late, That's a brilliant idea.
And another neat idea is, so all the videos that I put on my urgent care page, what they were patients that came from urgent care to see us after. So my whole focus is to take business away from the convenient MD places. Why? Mm-hmm. Because, for example, I had a patient that came in for a fracture. Urgent care. They came in after urgent care. They said, go see podiatry. Came in to see me. I looked at the x-rays. There was no fracture. They had put them in the boot. Say they really didn't need the boot. They had no fracture. They were fine.
Oh, wow.
Or how many patients do they actually go to the urgent care? They give them an antibiotic because they can't do the procedure for the ingrown toenail. Then they come to see us, and I can do the procedure, so I could have saved you doing an antibiotic.
Right.
So there's multiple patients like that go to urgent care. So I'm trying to kind of capitalize on all their marketing, and they're going to come, if they're looking for foot problem urgent care, they're not going to go to urgent care, they're going to come and see me, and no one else is offering this.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this idea. I'm speechless. It's very, very clever way to use and fill it up the schedule.
Yeah, because if you're under 20 to 25 patients a day, your whole focus is on building demand. You can't really focus on increasing your price, because you just need butts in the seat.
Right.
So you only worry about butts or increasing value after you fill up your schedule. So all the focus initially is getting more demand.
Yeah, getting more demand with the right
patients.
Yeah, the right patient. You don't want more routine for care.
Correct. So you have to figure. Well, if you can put them in your half day, but those are ones. Yeah, but it's what you speak to, right? And what you speak to.
Right. And how about bringing more DMEs and AFOs into the practice? Mm-hmm. Because I think after, now you have all these schedules, now I need to look for high return of these patients, and I think AFOs and DMEs is a way to go. Correct. Am I wrong?
Correct. So AFOs, durable medical equipment, are the way to go. What really helps me is and so you can get this. They're called my treatment sheets. So I give these out. If you go to can I say the website?
Yes, absolutely.
If you go to podiatrypracticemastery.com, I have a free course. It's called the $1 Million Practice Formula, and on there's links to my Google Drive, and there's something I put together called a treatment sheet.
Unbelievable.
So let me explain what the treatment sheet is. So every condition has a sheet of paper. Okay, and so what I do, it's kind of morphed. In the past, I used to do a PowerPoint. So I used to show slides and do a PowerPoint for everyone. So I still have those. They're called patient presentations. But it's morphed into something called a treatment sheet. So when I'm with a patient, I say, okay, you were here for, let's say, plantar fasciitis. Actually, I have one right here. Let me just get it here to show you. I've been using this as an explanation all day. So what I would do with this treatment sheet is I would hold it in front of the patient. And so you can see, let's say we're talking about plantar fasciitis. So it's a combination of in-office dispensing, durable medical equipment, and your presentation to your patient all in one sheet. So what you're including in here is you're including what you're going to be selling to them as durable medical, as in-office dispensing, and your DME together as your protocol. So it makes it really simple. So what I say is, Mrs. Jones, or Giselle, what we have here, this is how I treat 99% of my patients and get them better with plantar fasciitis. And so I say, before your visit, most people have tried icing, stretching, shoe inserts, shoe changes, and anti-inflammatories. Oh yeah, I've tried those, you tell me. So then what I do is on this sheet, I say, okay, you see it up here is shockwave. So shockwave, it's 82% effective. It speeds up the feeling by 50%. It really works great. It's super expensive. It's like $1,500 for the 6 sessions. I don't think you need that yet, but most of my patients do that if they don't get better with these other things. I'm not going to start with this because insurance doesn't cover it.
Right.
And so what I just did there is I did something called anchoring. So anchoring means I'm talking about something that's really, I say it's really expensive, so I actually tell you the price. I anchor it, but I'm saying we're not going to start with that. Let's try what insurance covers, because everyone wants to try what insurance covers first. And so then what I do is I say, okay, have you tried an anti-inflammatory for 2 weeks consistently? No. Okay, I'm going to give you meloxicam. I'll send that over. Have you tried? And I like to do things that insurance that patients can't find on the internet. Okay, so if you give them the same thing they're going to find on the internet, they didn't need you.
Right.
So then I'm going to say, have you tried contrast baths? Well, what is a contrast bath? Well, it's 2 buckets of water, one with ice and one with hot water. I want you to do that for once a day for 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and 5 minutes. Can you do that? Yes. Yeah. So that's to reduce inflammation. I'm going to have you work on reducing tightness. So I have a little routine. I'm going to have you do a towel stretch in the morning for 3 minutes. Then you're going to put on your UFOs. Then I'm going to have you buy a foam roller, or you probably have a foam roller. I'm going to have you do that. And then you also, because you have tightness, we're going to do a stretching splint. So what I did with that stretching splint, that's the DME that's included in my process. So it's not something separate that they do. So the DME is always included. So let's say we were talking about posterior tibial tendonitis or tendon dysfunction, and the DME is an AFO. That's going to be in this as well, okay? Or any type of DME is going to be in your process. So they're going to get the AFO. So it's not a question of I'm not offering it; it's part of the process.
Right.
And then I'm going to talk about shoes. And if you sell shoes, you could include a shoe that they're, I want you to get this. If you include, like, let's say an anti-inflammatory, like EBM or one of those, you can include that in here. I have here, you can see here, it has a compression sleeve. So I have I don't know where I put, I had a compression sleeves in here, so I check that. Now another thing I do on this sheet is I say, well, I'm going to cross out surgery. We're not going to need surgery. But here's an AFO. It's called an aerospring brace. It's another DME item. I don't think we need that right now. I don't even think we need an MRI net. And then what I say is I'm going to see you back in 3 weeks, and if you're not better, we're going to do an ultrasound. Okay, and that's going to help me determine what we're going to do. So I've also pre-sold the ultrasound for them. So they come back in 3 weeks, and then they can bring this back, okay? And then I'll say, okay, where are we at? Oh, I'm not feeling much better. Okay, today we're going to do an ultrasound. So the ultrasound's already ready. What sells Shockwave 100% of the time is the ultrasound. Because I can show the right foot, I can show the left foot. It's a lot thicker. There's a fusion in there. And then everyone accepts the Shockwave, and I've already told them about it. So this is how you can include in-office dispensing and selling of things. And you can do the same thing with nail fungus, right? So how do all of my patients that have nail fungus get the UV light, the shoe spray, and the biotin? Because it's included in my sheet.
Yeah.
So everything that you do, you put everything on one sheet, super easy. They take it home, and I have here a QR code. So this QR code goes to my website. I have one page called the plantar fasciitis treatment process, and on there it explains all of this, and it has a video of me explaining it. And on the back side, they all have questions. And on the back side of the sheet is all my frequently asked questions that they're going to have. They always ask me about these questions. What is it? What causes it? What's the best treatment option? Can I stay active? So all of this in this one little sheet, super cheap. You print them out, and I have these for every single condition I do, so it makes my life so much easier. So this, in and of itself, is the way that you can increase things that you want them to purchase or buy, and including in-office or durable medical equipment for because every DME is caused for a certain thing. We have a drop foot DME, so for drop foot, I have a paper.
You're right.
For Achilles tendonitis, I have different DME. For a Ritchie Blaze is for posterior tibial tendonitis. So all of those, you're going to have Shockwave on there, and the DME item, and the over-the-counter thing that you're going to purchase. For fungus, you're going to have laser. You're going to have other types of things like that.
Your treatment protocol. So
that's
you
all it is.
have a treatment protocol for each condition, and then what I like that you share with your patients, because then your patients, they know what to expect. They are ready, prepared. Okay, if that not work, I know these costs.
You know what's next.
I know how much cost, and I'm willing to pay because it's worth it.
Correct.
I think it's phenomenal, and that's part of it.
It's free, so it's on that webpage. I give away all my stuff for free. The reason is, you're not going to like I'm saying this, but 80 to 90% of doctors won't do it. So they need coaching. That's where I have a hard time implementing it. But if you want my stuff, I give it all out for free. And so anyone can use it. You can you can download it. You can make your own Google Docs. And then if doctors need help coaching on how to do it, then I help them.
That's so exciting. So then you help the doctors to have a more efficient practice and more profitable.
Well, because the problem is, Giselle, is that a lot of times when we come to a conference like this, there's 500 vendors.
Right.
So how do you add something new? Let's say you want to add one of these new peptides. So for me, it's really easy. I just there's a category called repair and heal. I would add a checkbox to this new peptide, and I would just include it in my conversation on Monday when I go back to practice. It's really easy to include these and add new things to your practice just by adding a checkbox. And so it makes it much more, and so another thing that works really well is, let's say you have a young doctor that you're trying to train. If you have these papers, they know exactly how to explain things, and so they don't miss anything. Because a lot of times we don't want to. We're so busy.
Yeah.
We don't want to. We're not going to offer it. So by this way, you're kind of going in order. You're offering it.
And even sometimes the patients in the room it's have a conversation, distract you, and you forgot to remember a protocol that you're supposed to share. And this way, keep you focus on.
Yeah. This is my $1 million idea right here. If whoever's watching this, if you can use this. And this really took me to the next level in terms of my practice. Because in AAPPM we learn about protocols.
Yeah.
Right. We learn about scripting. We learn about all these things, but it wasn't all in one place. So all I did, I just put on a piece of paper.
You know how many doctors run their practice? Usually solo doctors run their practice and they say, "I want to bring an associated, but I'm not ready because I do not have my written protocols." And doctors in office for many years, and they practice by experience, and they
have their own protocols in their minds.
In their mind, but they don't have written protocols, so they delay them from bringing associated.
Well, and part of the problem is like written protocols. If you're going to make like a Word document, how often do you actually refer to those protocols? Only when you write them.
Right.
And you give them to the doctor to use them, but no one ever looks at them. Staff never look at them. This thing I'm looking at every day, and the benefit to me looking at this every day is if I mess up, I can just change the piece of paper.
Right.
So it's always getting better. That's the thing. It's always getting better.
And when you come to a conference like that and you learn about some new technology or some new product or some new techniques, you can
include it in your process. Really easy. And also if you stop certain things.
Yeah.
Like and you can clarify certain things. So for example, everyone will ask me about cortisone. Well, I do a cortisone if your pain is an 8 or 10. So very few patients have a pain from 8 to 10 on the pain scale. So but they know when I'm going to do it or when I'm going to do an MRI. I have this all included in here, so it answers all their questions, and it saves me a lot of time.
That's fantastic. And everything that they cannot self-care. Like, okay, now I know the doctor protocol. I can go to
they can try it.
CVS and take care of myself.
I don't mind it. So and the thing is I want to give you a little story. In the past, I've done videos on how to do ingrown toenails. And I actually had doctors in my community that said, "Don, you're giving away all of our secrets." And they didn't want me to do a video on how to do an ingrown toenail because they said all the doctors are going to watch those videos and do them themselves. They're not going to watch them to do them themselves. I give these to doctors, but the doctors won't use them. I give them to the patients. They can look at this. They can look at this and try to do it on their own, but it's not. They don't know how to do it. Just like they can do ChatGPT for their condition, they can look at things and they can do part of them. They can do foam rolling, they can do icing, they can do anti-inflammatory. If they get better, that's great. But when they don't get better, they can't do shockwave. You know, they can try buying a night splint, but we can get it to them for free. They can't do an ultrasound. So there's a lot of things that they can't do. And I don't mind. I give away, on my website, I give away how we treat everything. I give it all away.
That's great.
But why? Because they see you as the expert. They're not going to be able to do it themselves. I'm a big believer.
So how do you
that.
motivate them to move forward on your coaching program? How you motivated them to move out of the comfort zone and change how they're doing to a better
that's where the coaching comes in. Really is I meet with them. So when people kind of you have my email. It's don@podiatrypracticemastery.com. So we start to chat, and I set up a call with them. Okay, what's your biggest struggle? And so everyone has a struggle, but most of the time those struggles, then I can refer them to one of those videos that I have that explains it. And they say, okay, I watched the video, but I'm still struggling. And that's where people join for the coaching, because what I used to do is I had basically a membership site, and on that membership site, I charge them to get in there. But the problem is, people don't do it. They pay me every single month to be part of this membership site, and I make them pay, so hopefully they'll do it, but they won't do it. And so that's where it comes into, if they pay me more, and if in the way I do it, it's something called the $1 Million Club. So basically, it's a chat group on WhatsApp, and I have contacted them, and they ask me all their questions and all their concerns. And I'm a busy doctor working, so I don't meet with them one-on-one. What I do is, in between patients, you'll ask me, hey, I had a struggle with this, or I might say, can you record yourself doing your presentation? Can you record how you would answer? I'm struggling with this. And so they use me as long as they need me, and I kind of coach them along, and then I refer them to the resources. Because otherwise they get overwhelmed. I found if I gave everything to everyone, no one knew what to use.
Right.
And so okay, what's your struggle? My struggle is marketing. Okay, we'll use these resources and then let me know how it's going. Oh, I'm struggling with this. Well, I'll use this ChatGPT prompt. So I kind of coach them along, and I keep it pretty reasonable. It's like $500 a month. It's super cheap.
Yeah, but that's so great as well that you supported them on your own level. Like you talk the same language. You know they struggle, and then
because I struggled with it. I'm just giving them solutions that work for me. And if once again the same way, I'll teach my patients and let them do it on their own. I'll teach the doctors, and they can do it on their own for free. But if you need help, that's what I'm here for.
I love it. And say your website again.
So it's called podiatrypracticemastery.com, and there's also a podcast. I have tons of episodes. And in the episodes, what I do basically is I just tell you how I get to the $1 million mark every single day. So every day I'm going through my patient list, and I'm saying why I did this, what were the treatment protocols that I used to get to the $1 million mark.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fun.
I totally love it. Thank you so much, Dawn. It's so nice to hear all these great things that you're doing. I love this protocol. Actually, tomorrow in my lecture...
So steal it. You can steal it.
Tomorrow in my lecture, I will talk about DME, growing DME in the practice, and I do talk about having your protocols to different cares.
But if it's a written... So there's a difference. I just want to end with this. We all have our protocols in our mind.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be great if you could have a protocol that included DME, that included in-office dispensing, that included regenerative medicine, all on one piece of paper? That's why I made it.
Yeah.
Because you could put it on a website, but how often do they go to your website to look at it? But paper, they can put it up in their fridge.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dawn. I really appreciate talking with you, and I really appreciate the help that you bring to all other doctors.
Thank you.
We are looking forward to our next episode. Your questions and comments fuel our discussions, so keep them coming. Don't miss out on the latest updates. Hit the subscribe button and stay connected with us on this journey of success.